Hello, welcome to the show. So you really worked hard to get the boy, to get the girl, right? Mm-hmm. Was the girl of your dreams, and you did everything. You did the routine of being 1 hour in front of the mirror.
And she also did the same.
And she did the same. So you got the girl. What happens next? A lot of people let themselves go, right?
Indeed. Maybe because, well, because of many factors.
Mm-hmm.
Could be pregnancy, could be many things, illness even. So.
Mm-hmm. And usually when one or both of them let themselves go, usually it's because they think, well, I've got her, I've got him, so I've got nothing else to prove. She's mine, she's not going anywhere.
Well, if both think the same, then it's not that big of a problem. Problem is when one is still fighting for the relationship, mm-hmm. and that is a very important part of a relationship, and the other person is not looking after herself anymore and just, gave up.
Tonight, we'll be speaking about this. Actually, we have a very interesting and funny video of what happens, what the guy does after a while in the relationship. Have a look what happened.
It's been 2 years since Mark moved in with his girlfriend, and the closest thing he does to exercise is stretching his hand to use a remote control to change the TV channel. Mark finds comfort in fast food and unhealthy snacks, and not caring about his weight or personal hygiene. He always manages to get up to make himself a cup of tea, but never cleans the flat that he and his girlfriend live in. Mark wasn't always like this, not in the beginning when he was first dating his girlfriend. But once the relationship developed, he really let himself go.
Right, so you just saw there what happens to a lot of guys, and usually the stereotype is the guy. They say the guy lets himself go, and although it's a funny sketch, but that's...
I don't know, nowadays men are so more, they even do their nails, they do their eyebrows, and so many more things that, I don't know. I think things are changing.
And actually, that sketch you saw there is based on someone that I knew, an uncle of mine. And I can say that because he's not in this country, but it's similar to what you saw there. As shocking as that may seem.
He can still watch you, right?
I don't think he knows how to use the internet yet, so we're safe.
All right.
Anyway, so we're going to speak to a couple here tonight, and Nick and
Annabelle.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming. Nick, you're a little bit nervous. Relax.
Chill.
He was a little bit nervous before. Now, just before we talk about the subject, letting yourself go, tell us a little bit about yourselves. How long have you guys been dating?
We've been dating since,
well, we met on the 10th of September, right? That's when I arrived in England.
So you're one of the few guys that's good with dates.
Yeah.
10th of September.
And, well, we started dating like a month after, probably.
Yeah, the start is a bit tricky because we kind of click from the very first few days he arrived. But officially it's a month after that?
A month after, yeah.
So it's fairly new.
Yeah.
Few months.
Yes.
Right? So you're still getting to know each other, or I mean, you're learning about each other a lot, I imagine.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
What have you found out about each other? Who's the calmest? Who's the more,
who takes longer getting dressed in the morning? Do you know anything about that? Let's say you have a date and then you
Well, I take longer, but he takes longer to actually be downstairs or in the car. I take longer to get ready, but I'm normally out before him. He's always still doing something.
So you are the one who takes longer looking at,
Yeah.
Okay. That's good. Women should take a little bit longer. I mean, they're not more high maintenance, but they take
We are. My friend, if you had hair to curl and and to straighten
Eyebrows
and
to
makeup, isn't it? They have no
Actually,
idea.
speaking of hair, Nick, you used to have long hair.
Yeah, I had long hair before. Yeah.
So now you just get out of the shower and it's good to go.
Yeah. You wake up and it's ready to go.
Can you see
Awesome.
why there's no excuse and they should be downstairs on time?
Yes.
Now, we're talking today about this thing of letting yourself go, whether you're a guy or a girl. And even before, I think, was it you, Nick, that said that usually it's more the guy that lets himself go? Is that what you think?
Yeah, I thought so, yeah.
Why? Why do you think that?
I don't know, women are more working on relationship like guys, I would say. That's my mindset on it.
But you, for example, you look after yourself.
Yeah.
That's good. It's going to continue like that.
Yeah.
But you know, the thing is, although the general idea is that guys, they are the ones who let themselves go. It happens to women as well.
It does.
Right? You said you've seen that happening in your workplace. How's that
In
go?
my workplace, in terms of I work in home care, so we go out to visit people and do risk assessment a lot. So we go and visit people maybe that suffer from depression after breakup, or then that could lead to mental health issues. And you can see their pictures where they were really looking after themselves, and then they've put on God knows how many kgs, or you know, they've got chocolates around and eating all day, and
eating and stuff.
even the hygiene, and you know, you can notice the difference within a few months of how they were and how they are.
But usually in that case it's associated to an illness, to depression or something like that.
Yeah.
But there are people, for example, who are in healthy relationships, but they think, look, now, you know, I'm married to her, or we're together, so that's it. I looked after myself when we were dating. Now not needed anymore.
Sometimes I don't believe is that the person does it on purpose. Some people are genuinely, you know, like, how can I say this in a word, like they don't think they have to do their hair every day or put makeup on every day. It's like for special occasions, and maybe they happened to meet when she had makeup on. You know, maybe they were traveling or something, they met somewhere, and then now he gets to see who she really is.
And also when people have kids, people think, well, now I have kids, I have no time to make myself more beautiful or to look after myself.
Time, or because they have to be money, stay home. There's the money factor. There's also this thing, at least from what I see in people I know. Now I'm a stay-at-home mom, so I don't have to, why am I going to dress up anyway? I wake up, I have my PJs on, put on my coat, take them to school, come back, and then wait for the time to go and pick them up again.
So do you think it's important for men and women, even after they're in a relationship, to look after themselves?
Yes, I think it is, because I've heard friends saying once they're married, most of my friends are married, and I've heard them say that, you know, why do I have to cut my hair? Why do I have to do my eyebrows? You know, who's going to look at me now? I'm like, your husband surely will, you know.
Oh my God.
You didn't pluck his eye after you got married to him, so he would still see. So,
what about you, Nick? Do you think, for example, is it important? You're now in a relationship, even though you've been there for a few months, but is it important for you, for example, when she makes an effort, special effort to look nice? How do you feel?
Oh, I feel great, yeah.
Can you see the smile? Can you get that on camera?
Yeah, I like her at home when we hang out without makeup, and I like the natural feel. So I also like when we go out and all that, all makeup.
Yeah, because it's not only makeup, right? We're talking about women now, but wait, men, we're
going to talk about men as well?
Yeah, of course we are.
Are you sure?
Yes. For example, some men don't like their partner to wear makeup.
Yeah.
They like, but it's not an excuse, you know. You have to have your shower every day, you know. You have to smell nice. You have to, you know.
put your deodorant on.
Yes, things like that, you know. It's
what did you say again?
Put your deodorant on.
Oh, yes. And actually, there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than you appreciate that sometimes. You know, she makes a nice meal for you and so on, and the guy as well does that as well. But there's nothing worse than you know, going to hug the person or kissing the person, and that whiff of onions comes your way.
Yeah,
put you off,
fried
right?
chicken and stuff.
fried chicken, fried fish.
And I understand the women at home, you know, it's not easy if you work and then your husband is also out working and you are also, so you come home pretty much at the same time. So you didn't quite have the time to have dinner all prepared and you are already with your, you know, you already had your shower, you're waiting for your husband. Many people don't have that luxury. We have to be honest with that, you know, in this. But, you know, there's things you can do, you know, to... Absolutely. First of all, I would say that a key thing is to get to know your man. If he's someone who doesn't like you, because some women, they love makeup, and the partner doesn't really like it. They think it's just too much. So maybe, you know, tune it down a bit, but you need to get to know him and see what
here's the eternal question. We're going to ask the question after the break. Does my bum look big in this? Isn't that the question that every woman asks and every man is afraid to answer, right? Because if you say yes, it's a problem, because she's going to say, oh, but you're telling me that I've put on weight. If he says no, and it does, then she says, well, you're not being sincere. And then, so there's all these questions. So how do you answer that question? How do you answer the question, does my bum look big in this? What do you do? And actually, maybe the guy asks, you know, is my 1 pack too big? Not 6 pack, the 1 pack, right? Is it too big? How do you deal with that? We're going to go into a short break. We'll talk about that when we come back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. So before we went to the break, we asked the eternal question that women ask, does my bum look big in this? That's a tricky one, right? Yeah. How do you answer that?
You quite learned how to answer when I asked you.
Did I? How do you answer
Sometimes
that?
You don't answer, you know. Yeah.
Well, the thing is this, look, you know, we were talking earlier that for a relationship to continue to be a great relationship, you should be making the effort every single day that you made on your wedding day, because on the wedding day you wanted to look your best and you wanted the other person to look their best also. Not because you are shallow, you know, it's not because you only think about the appearance, but there was something that attracted you in that person's appearance. Yeah. And although we know that appearance will not last forever, our bodies change, but if the effort is there to look your best, like you were saying during the break, Elena, you make the person feel special.
Yeah, and of course, you know, it's not only about, oh, I don't have time to look after myself, or I just don't want to do that anymore. It's how you're going to make the other person feel. It's like, oh, she doesn't like me anymore. She's not making an effort. And for those who are not married, you know, look after yourself how you used to on your first date.
And also, sometimes you say, well, but he says that he likes me like this, that he likes me the way I am. I'm sure that he does, but there's a difference between you like something and you prefer something. I like chicken and chips, but I would prefer something better, right?
The thing is, sometimes they are afraid to say, you know, to talk to the partner and say, listen, what's going on with you? Maybe, like you were saying about your work, maybe, you know, you see many people not looking after themselves anymore because of an illness or even mental health, anything, depression. So maybe there's actually something going on that's deeper than just not wanting to look after yourself. So it might be worth talking about it.
Do you feel, for example, like now you guys have been dating for a while, you know each other better, do you feel like it's not as important now to look after your appearance?
I don't think so, not for me. It's always important to do my eyebrows, get my hair done. So.
What about for you, Nick?
For me, it's easy. I got no hair. You know?
I think we should do that.
But because for example, the thing is, the way I look at it is that when you look after yourself, and if you're in a relationship, you're doing that for the other person as well.
True.
It's not just for you, right?
Yeah.
However, if I may say, he does like it when I don't wear makeup sometimes. So what I now tend to do is, on the days that we are, because we both work for ourselves, so we spend a lot of the time together working. So I tend to put on less makeup or dressing up less when we're just together every day. But when we're doing something special, going out, then I'll put on a bit more, and then he'll turn around and compliment because he noticed the extra effort, and it also allow him to get what he likes, less makeup.
You see?
Yeah, and the thing is, like we were saying, you know, when you look after yourself, it's something that you're doing that is unselfish, because you're doing it for the other person. Because sometimes we know there's the commitments of work and children and all this kind of stuff, but there always has to be that effort where you know, you're doing it so that the other person can still find you attractive, because there was something that caught the eye of the person before.
It's like, for example, you spend so much time looking for the perfect camera, and then finally you buy the camera because you have all these beautiful reviews about it, and you see the camera, wow, I like this camera, really nice, and then it stops working halfway through, you know, like...
Or you drop it somewhere.
Yeah, or, you know, it's like you were sold something, you were mis-sold, is that what it is? So it's kind of a bit, you know, but I still think that the woman, I speak for the women, should look after themselves first for themselves. And then this will show on the outside. But of course, always bearing in mind the partner.
So
Definitely.
what about the question of the one pack, right? If the guy says to the lady, look, do I upset you by my one pack? Do you want me to get the six pack? How does the woman answer that?
Well, normally if he asks me that, I don't like six packs. I told him as long as
Thank you, because they think that we love this thing.
I think it's horrible. For me personally, I don't like
it looks plastic, doesn't it?
Yes, it looks like, you know, I can't stop picturing when you get old, what would you look like?
You're gonna have a hard time keeping up.
You know, when you're old and you can't lift the weights anymore, you know, every time I have this picture and I say, I'd rather you look after yourself, you're healthy. He always asks me, I'm like, oh, you know, as long as you look after yourself, I don't like the six packs.
Isn't
okay, you don't like the six pack, but let's say that tomorrow, this young man here, Nicholas, he says, you know what, I'm going to stop looking after myself now, and he grows this bushy beard, and he, you know, wears the same tracksuit bottoms for 2 weeks.
Oh my God!
and eating, you know, popcorn, watching TV the whole day. How would you still say, oh, I love you all the same?
No.
Of course not.
No.
Because that's the thing, you know, people say, well, but don't you love the person still? Yes, but you want the person to be the best version that they can be, right?
It's not just the appearance, because I think if by this starting to be like that, it can also brings your self-esteem down. And you know, for me, if I've been busy at work and I've not had time to do my hair, do my eyebrow, I would just book an appointment, go there, and it boost me back up, you know, you feel alive again. And I don't know if it's the same for men, but for most women, that's how it is.
Well, I think, you know me, I'm all for prevention. I always say that, you know, make sure you know who you're getting involved with. You have to be realistic. You go on a date, you need to take time and get to know the person. If the person is not the kind that likes to put on fake eyelashes, you know, extensions, you know, some men like that, and that's fine. And then you see that the woman is not that kind, but inside you think, no, she's gonna do whatever I want to please me. And then, you know, you get married eventually, she does it to please you, but you know, it's not in her. So you're gonna be disappointed sooner or later.
Yeah, but of course, when you start a relationship, you hope that person that you got to know the way that she was or that he was, that's who you're going to have.
So people have to be true and sincere and be who, you know, not show something that they are not when they go on dates, because this happens a lot. They try to impress so much and then they can't keep it up.
So here's the thing. I hope you're not watching this program and feel that we are talking a lot about a superficial, shallow subject today. Absolutely not. Actually, you know, if you buy a car because you loved the way that car looks, you know, in a few years, in 20 years, that car will be a classic. It's going to be a classic car because there's going to be few of those cars around. And even though it's an old car, you still love it. It's an old car, but it's still as beautiful as you first saw it, perhaps even more, if you look after it. Of course, if it's a classic, but it's completely mashed up, you're not going to want it. And And the same thing is for us. So it's not a shallow subject. For example, you were mentioning that in your work, sometimes you treat people or you look after people who are a shadow of their former selves. They have like these amazing pictures of how they were before, and they just lost all interest in themselves. And isn't it sad to see that?
Yes, it is.
I mean, how do you feel when you see things like this?
I feel like telling them to wake up, you know, and you know, there's more to life than that. You know, just make an effort, make a decision to go and start looking after yourself again. But I think that is a decision that everyone needs to make.
Actually, from what you're saying, I strongly believe that your appearance is a reflection of how you are inside. There must be something wrong if you don't have the motivation to have a shower when you wake up in the morning, you know, or to go to the hairdresser sometimes, to, you know, change your clothes, wash your clothes, things like that.
It's a matter of saving your relationship,
yes,
right? It's a matter of keeping your relationship alive and strong, because, you know, if you say, but he or she has to love me for who I am inside, you know, I've let myself go completely, but she has to love me for who I am inside. Okay, but the thing is, when you wake up, you don't see the person inside, you see the person on the outside.
Yes, and also, I'm thinking of the women, talking about women, I can only speak for the women, as I said, that they had a baby, you know, they feel, you know, I've put on weight, so, you know, I don't look attractive, I don't feel attractive. But sometimes a partner, if he's mature, he sees the change with a mature, in a mature way, like, you know, she just had a baby, our son or our daughter, she's gonna go back into shape, or maybe it's not even a big deal for him. So, you know, maybe sometimes the woman, she makes a big deal out of a change in her life, and sometimes the partner is not even bothered with that, you know. But
so the thing is, Nick, first to finish, how do you think, let's say that in 10 years time your partner let herself go, and it's not going to happen, but let's say it does happen. after today it can't happen, right? How would you tell her, what do you think is the right way for you to tell her, look, you know, come on, make more of an effort? What would you do?
I'll try to share with her how important it is for her and for myself, probably, and explain that would be good
to share. But how would you share? How would you say, look at yourself? Would you do that?
No. Yeah, the letting go already started. There could have been a problem there. Why it started? Probably even figure out if there was a problem before.
So you think there could have been a root?
Yeah, something happened at some point, and then we stopped looking after ourselves. So
the thing is, Elena, you know, everyone wants their partner to look the best, and they want themselves to look the best as well. So how do you do if your partner no longer looks his best? You want him to, you want her to. What is the best way to go about it?
Well, communication.
How do you say, look at the extra pounds you put on? Do you say that?
No, of course not. But you know, you choose the right time. Of course, it's something gradual. It doesn't happen overnight. But there's a point where you, oh my God, she really let herself go, or he did. He doesn't brush his teeth anymore. And then he comes to me for a kiss. It's really hard. Things like that. You know, you have to sit down, choose a good time. And so is everything okay with you? Finding out how the person is inside. Are you okay? Are you sad? I feel that you are not interested in certain things that you used to. You know, I noticed this and that. Please don't be offended. Everything in a very, talk in a very careful way.
Okay.
I would say.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us. We've run out of time, surprisingly. But I want to say something, actually two things to you. First of all, remember that the idea behind this subject was not for you to think we were talking about something shallow. We're talking about one of the most important things, because at the end of the day, you love the person inside, but you also fell in love with who they were on the outside. And the second thing is, perhaps the best way to let someone know that they need to look after themselves more is to do it together with them. Rather than saying, go and join a gym, go and do this, go and do that. So perhaps do it together with them. Because in that way, if you look after yourself and the other person doesn't, then you'll be looking after yourselves together. If both of you have let yourselves go, then you can also do this together. It always works better than telling the person how horrible they look. If that's what you think, and they already feel bad for looking, perhaps for not looking after themselves, you're only going to make them feel worse. So here's the solution. Work towards it together. Become better together. In that way, no one gets offended and the relationship only improves. Okay, it's been a pleasure to be with you. Have a wonderful evening.